took me longer than expected because I realized that I needed ice cream to continue this conversation.
Okay. It's good. I needed the time, and I still don't have a great answer, but that's okay.
You can start anywhere. You have all kinds of time.
I know, but this is it's what I think someone either alluded to or said is it's like you're trusting me at the same time here, where like if I was just like tell me your deepest darkest secret, it's like okay, yeah, screw you, Thane. It's a careful balance. Whereas if I'm just like, what's your favorite color? It's like, okay, well, I learned nothing.
I like that Thane. I feel like this is very revealing that Thane jumps to a place of like, he says he trusts me, eh? I'm not going to ask to confirm that he trusts me. I'm going to ask him for incriminating information.
You totally misunderstood what I said or meant
Okay.
there. Sorry. I am trying to find questions that are. I don't just want to ask him, do you trust me? That's a. It doesn't. I feel like it doesn't get at the heart of it, but yeah.
Sure. It's sort of like you can say that, but what does that mean?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Maybe you think you trust me, but like your actions. I feel like again we're getting into things like your actions maybe don't say that thing. I think he would say he would have so much better. Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna say it, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. He'd say, "Do you think I would betray you like Rurik did?"
Let's see, the way that he would emotionally react, which is what you would get first, would be that he would think you'd think I think oh man, how does this digest into emotions?
It's tough, right?
Let's see. The emotions would be fear and fury. He definitely there are and worry. Worry would definitely be there. And then you'd probably hear. I'll do his verbal response next before his internal dialogue. So his verbal response would be, and he knows his mind is being read. So he would say, not like Rurik did. And in his head, what you would hear is, Rurik never betrayed me. He betrayed my ideals. And also, you would hear, let's see, in his thoughts. If Rurik betrayed me directly, that would have been preferable. We could have fought it out, and it would be done and over with. Or the story could continue, and everything would have played out. This might be getting long, but I'm imagining this as parallel thoughts. The last parallel thought that I think would be there is the worst thing that Thane could do to me would be to stop me from returning to Lenny. Which is, you would feel that there's a lot of emotional anger and worry about that.
Mhm.
And sorry, there's one more thought, which was that, but Thane has no reason to do that. I think is the last thing.
Yeah. I think Dilue would.
Oh, but you would know Vane fears Thane specifically
In a specific way, or
in a specific way.
Be right back, but I can still hear you.
specifically connected to Lenny?
No, not connected to Lenny. Well, I think you would have to dig into that thought if you wanted more.
Okay.
Which, if you do, there's more.
Okay. I think Dilue would just start talking.
Mm-hmm.
As she's listening to this, and would say, the thing Vane is most afraid of anyone doing is stopping him from getting to his little brother. Which, as far as I'm aware, Thane, we have no plans to do, and he doesn't believe you have any reason to do that. The thing Rurik did was not betray Vane specifically, but betray his ideals. I know you and I talked about that once, Vane. That what Rurik did was change your narrative in a way.
Indeed. When I first returned from death, my initial concerns were how the story had been twisted to make my own death the reason for the Frost's fall. To cast me as a reward for a traitor. His thoughts are very similar to that there. Very much spiking as the voice fluctuated there.
Mm-hmm.
The you would hear a trail of a thought that starts near the end of that, which was, and then that bastard Sir Bradford.
We call him Sir Badford.
And then you'd actually probably start to feel him start to spiral into something. Sorry, go ahead.
I had a bit of a lag there.
Okay.
Yeah, I did too.
You would hear his thoughts begin to get into a bit of a extremely angry spiral after that. That seems to be self-directed, but it seems to get locked down.
Ain't a fan of Sir Bradford for reasons that I think are fair.
Understandable. I should have asked this earlier. Dilue, are you saying exactly what he said, or are you saying only what Scout is saying?
Only what Scout is saying.
Okay.
In that case, you would hear a thought over Vane's mind, which is, why isn't Dilue telling Thane I'm afraid of him?
Dilue sigh. Gives a little sigh. Says, he is afraid of you, though.
Thane would get like very puzzled. Afraid of me? For what specific reasons?
Thane, you are extremely powerful, and I usually don't know where you are. If I were to ever offend you, I don't know that I would live to see the next day. Those are his thoughts.
So, oh wait, go Dilue. Sorry.
I mean, did he say that out loud?
He did.
Yeah. So
Oh.
that was just like,
At that, I would say that right there sounds like mistrust.
No, you misunderstand. I trust you, Thane, because I have to.
also accurate to the internal narrative.
Yes.
Dilue does not want to wade into this one.
I must treat you as closest a compatriot as I can, because I can't afford for you to betray me.
There's a nugget of something here. Hang on. Actually, I think Thane would just take a mental note of that and move on. So Paul's going to take a real note of it. One sec. He specifically said he trusts me because he has to.
That's correct. Because he must, specifically.
Seems to me you
Can I
don't
ask a
have to.
quick question? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Does Vane think he's helping?
That, you can't read his mind, you don't know.
Yes. Yeah, Thane would just make a mental. Hang on one sec. Thane would make a mental note of that, and the next thing he would say is, well, he would say, "Is it okay if I ask?" And he's gonna say a few more questions, but he might only have one.
Ask whatever you wish. That's why I let you read my mind.
He says, "Do you believe killing the god of roads was the right course of action?"
Okay, I should respond to this first with with Vane word speak, which is, I believe that when we walked into that room, I didn't believe it was a possibility that we would slay a god. When we were defending ourselves from the god, even then we tried everything we could to talk them down, to find some solution that was not to defend ourselves. And even when we began to fight back, I did not believe that there was any chance that anything we could do could have slain a god. In his head, you would have heard, except perhaps if we'd been using Black Razor.
Dilue says, I think, except maybe Black Razor, but in like a very in Dilue's own tone.
Sorry, what does Dilue say?
Except maybe Black Razor.
And he would have, let's see, other thoughts in his head there would have been, that have been miscellaneous, because he said a bunch of things. When he said, when we walked into that room, you would have felt excitement there, a spirit of adventure that he's remembering, frustration, a feeling of pride as well. Probably would have heard thoughts like, I can't believe we fought on the steps. And let's see. Within the bowels of a god. And then when talking about the trying to talk down the god. He's like, irrational being. And it's like, call yourself a god of destiny and you can't even forge your own. And the last when no that and then we got to the Black Razor bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and with the bringing up just the death of the god in general, there is a kind of mechanical calmness about that. That he trying to think the right way that he would digest this. Yes, a pretty mechanical calmness about that idea that the god died at their hands.
Dilue would say, of all of those things, I think the one she would call out is that he can't believe we got into a fight on the steps.
Okay.
Yeah, like out of character, I want to make a note that Dilue is not withholding information on Vane's emotions to be manipulative. It is more specifically that Dilue is a person whose brain is yelling at top volume 100% of the time, usually with strong washes of emotion. So A, she just tunes that out reflexively, and B, she wouldn't assume that that was indicative of someone's true beliefs unless it was really sus.
Yeah, and we are getting into Vane's brain, so if you're feeling like anything is like sus and doesn't seem like this is appropriate for what Vane's brain would be doing, let me know, and then I can either speak to it or we can push on it.
Sure. Everything kind of tracks so far. The calmness is weird, but she's letting that one go because people respond all kinds of ways to feeling like you killed a god.
All right, I thought of what I think is a juicy one, but I'm trying to think around it to see if there's a juicier thing. Hang on one second.
You maximize the juice.
I feel like Thane would word this better. Paul can't think of a better way to word it, but he would say, yeah, he'd say, how do you feel about Orin's leadership?
That is juicy.
Yeah, you get all kinds of table flipping emotions in there, and just like, I can't believe he asked me to lie about who I am. Let's see.
Can't believe he said my last name was Phanafraxis.
Definitely that. The first time we were in Kronos, we got arrested because of his shenanigans.
I forgot about that.
How are we going to pass down our tales as those of heroes when we get kicked out of cities when we enter them?
File this all the way under. Dilue will remember this.
Yeah, there's a ton of these kinds of just gripes, petty things.
Again, does Dilue say these to Thane? That's
yeah, I was kind of trying to like wait and see what she would contextualize, but if there's a rush of that, I think she would be like, so not great, it seems.
But after all of that is but and I haven't spoken Vane's actual words yet either. So actually let me do that first. So Orin has his struggles, and I believe that I agree with Orin almost as infrequently as... Oh, what's a really good one? Damn, I don't have a good analogy. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna have to give up on that.
As infrequently as wild magic summons
Oh,
unicorn.
you're really getting there. Okay, it's really close. As infrequently as his magic is entirely under his control. However, he has kept the boat steady and moving. And that is more than I believe I could have done for this group. And that is true. In his internal dialogue, he notes that in his brain you do get a lot. This is also about you guys, about a lot of like, I can't believe that let's see. I can't believe Thane and Dilue want to have always bring up Black Razor and always want to use it. I can't believe, very sadly, I can't believe that we let that woman get killed by Black Razor. And he feels, you think, this is an emotion about that is extreme frustration, but notably not sorrow. You would notice that he, let's see. So make note, like, Sato's always flying around, or just sitting there.
Sato's sins are few compared to the rest of us.
That is true. But Vane is a little frustrated about it. Let's see. Let's see. Is there any other big ones that are good to note right now? I think not. There are a bunch of very petty things about the group that he's thinking about while he's talking about that, and the undercurrent seems to be that, like, he doesn't feel like anyone would listen to him, because nothing seemed controllable. Then at the end of that is a thought like, and he did make an awfully good book.
Yeah, Tyler takes that in, nods along to what Vane actually said out loud, and then says, seems like Vane has one or two grievances for all of us. But on the other hand, we seem to be the Frost Daggers.
This is kind of weird, I know, but would Vane say anything about, or to Dilue, about Dilue just saying not great and then summing it up as in the way that...
Oh, can you say it again? The way that you said it, Scout.
So then the not great came before Vane actually said his thing out loud about Orin's leadership, which she would just kind of be like, "Yep, that's kind of it."
Sorry.
In summary.
Sorry, going back real quick. What happened was AJ said that Vane thinks a bunch of things, like how they got thrown out of Kronos and that sort of stuff. Dilue said not great for that.
Hmm.
And then AJ, you were talking more about specific grievances and
And
the
that
book.
Orin steadied us through that.
Right.
Yep.
And Dilue said, I think you said, sounds like he has a lot of grievances.
A few specific grievances about all of us, but do also seem to be the Frost Daggers.
Okay.
Which
I
I
think
think her facial expression when she said "not great" would probably give away that she was summarizing a large barrage of things rather than intentionally holding back because she loves dunking on
I guess
Orin.
again,
yeah.
weird. Vane would be talking and thinking.
Yes.
Thane can only hear what Dilue says,
Yes.
but Vane can also hear what Dilue says. So if Dilue says, like,
Yeah, I'm about to react to what Dilue just said, which is what Dilue just said was he has a few specific grievances about all of us. And you would probably get a kind of list in his brain. It's like, one, they all of them just do whatever they want all the time.
All of us do just whatever we want all the time.
And let's see. Uh, I think number two, no one tells anyone else what they're planning on doing.
No one tells anyone else what they're planning on doing.
And let's see. Does he have any on Orin? Yes. I cannot believe Orin uses his magic on the ship so much.
Can't believe Orin uses his magic on the ship so much.
Let's see. Uh, the Is there any other big grievances that he has? If you want to prompt me with anything, you can. If you think that there's something to push on.
Tyler wouldn't disagree.
They lie all the time.
They lie all the time.
And these are in his head. He is referring to the frost daggers generally, although that one was specifically about Orin. I think that's as far as he would get very kind of quickly, because I think in this case he's going through that list sequentially.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler would accurately report all of those out loud.
Okay, and I think the thought jamming that would happen from that would disrupt him from going down the list further.
I've got at least one more. Give me a sec.
The interrogation continues. This is a really beautiful parallel because there was a part where Dilue and Orin were talking to Gran, and Dilue was reading her thoughts and was the only one who could hear what she was saying and was not reporting that info exactly until Gran started dunking on Orin, at which point she started being very faithful. It was great.
No words will pass these lips unless I agree with them.
Yeah. Unless they are Orin Ironhelm is a
How do you feel about me leaving the frost daggers?
Let's see. Do you want verbal response first or his?
I think verbal first is nice. Yeah.
Okay. So verbal response would be, You are an incredible asset. The team will not be the same without you. I am uncertain how we will get through the trials ahead, although we must. You would hear through his thoughts first, well, Dilue's going to be a mess. And then after that, well, along with that would be a few major undercurrents. The first one would be regret. He does not want that to happen. Be a blade like that doesn't come around every legend. And a minor undercurrent of, but at least Trespasser won't be here any longer. And I wonder if he'll take Black Razor with him. That would be nice. Let's
Love
see. What else? Yeah, I think general undercurrent of regret, but again, fear is there.
Yeah.
I think there would be one more thing. It's like, then I would have failed.
Yeah. So I think of that, Dilue would say, and ping me if there's anything major in there that I'm not saying. He'd regret that a great deal, and he feels like he would have failed. And what am I missing? Damn it.
I have it typed out if you need me to.
He thinks you're a great asset. I know he said that out loud, didn't he?
Yes, but I feel like that would be a fantastic.
Yeah, and you're a great asset, and
Oh, the one, you don't find a blade like that. Every legend is a.
you don't find a blade like that every legend. And he thinks I would be a mess, which is true. I'll admit.
Oh, actually, sorry, there would be a slight difference in that thought, because I think AJ has more meta information on that than I had thought. So when I said that, so he'd be like, rather than that, it would be, well then I suppose Dilue will be leaving us as well.
That I think she does not.
So nothing about Dilute, got it.
And then I think she ain't sure how he feels about Trespasser.
Oh, his thoughts in that actually, and his words, be like, I'm fairly certain I know how I feel about Trespasser. And his thoughts are it's like, from what we know of the weapons, they are anything that speaks is untrustworthy, and is made by echo.
Probably a healthy perspective to keep around. Dilue says for no reason, not looking at Riffraff.
If no one keeps talking, Vane's thoughts do keep going.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay.
Does one of the other things he thought, and this is up to Scout of whether or not you relay it, is he said, I wonder if he'd take Black Razor with him. That would be nice.
Dilue does not relay that. I would thinks that's a weird thing to think.
This is a weird way to do anything. Um,
Dilue is over in the corner, like, are we gonna have to do this with every single member of the Frostagers, including Winterstorm?
Oh, do you say that out loud?
No,
Okay.
That's
Okay.
an inside thought.
okay, yeah, he'd say, if I change my face every day from here on out, will that be an issue?
You would get a feeling there would be a lot. I can't do this justice. A lot of like ticking, like almost like an abacus of like calculating. Um, the
Dilue's like, don't start doing math. Don't start doing math. Don't you do it. Don't you do this to me, Vane.
he's not doing math. It's definitely more of a logic puzzle in his head that is spinning around. The you hear things like, if I always check with someone else, it should be fine. And so that he hesitates for a while before speaking, while that's kind of happening in his head, and then he says, "I will ensure it will not happen again." And in his brain, it'd be something like, I can't afford to lose myself. That is what Echo would want. I need to find a better anchor.
Dilue would just say he was just thinking about how to make it work. And he thinks it's important that he does.
I think, let's see, there's probably a bit at the start of that which you'd probably catch, which is like, uh, yeah. It'd be, this is he thinks this relatively flippantly, at the start of that, which would be like, yes, another little bit of chaos into my everyday life, and uh, that is that's as the like abacus sounds start. Um, but and exasperation was there, but then it was just the puzzle after that.
I think Dilue would think that was extremely fair. And yeah, she would not change her answer on that.
I don't think Thane has anything else. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, and if you leave it in silence for long enough, you would get the thought of how long will it take until they start talking about Black Racer?
I did legitimately, but before we started asking these questions, I wrote down a few, and one of mine is just Black Razor question mark. But I don't think Thane would want to talk about that right now.
Everyone has had enough of talking about Black Razor.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
But that is a
Dilue
thought
has
that
had
Diley
enough.
would have heard in Vane's brain.
Yeah. Dilue doesn't relay that. It wasn't related to a question. She's technically not breaking any rules.
Let's see. Are there any other idle thoughts that would happen in Vane?
I was gonna say, I think Thane would say, I think that's enough. Or he'd say, I think I got what I needed.
And both in his brain and as he stands, he would say, "I hope it was enough." And he reaches out to shake your hand.
I shake your hand.
Tyler says, although we certainly can go around to everybody else if you wanna.
Warning bells are going off in Vane's head. He's like, I don't know if the other frost daggers are willing to open themselves up to that kind of.
I mean, Dilue certainly isn't, so she would understand that. Dilue, I've just embellished the truth a little in this conversation, Phanafraxis. Yeah, Dilue would end the spell as soon as Thane says
Okay.
he's done.
Vane would then turn to Thane and say, I don't know if the rest of the frost daggers would be so willing as to just playing off of literally what he was just thinking in response to what Dilue just said about the detect thoughts, going around and having detect thoughts cast on everyone.
Oh, they wouldn't. Let's not do that.
Yeah, in fact, Dilue just says what she was thinking out loud too. It's like, well, I mean, I certainly wouldn't. I mean, Thane, if you want to read him, I guess, but rather not anybody else do that for some reason.
Well, I wish the rest of you, or the two of you, an excellent rest of your day. I hope that this was enough to show you that at least one member of the Frost Daggers is willing to place all of themselves in your hands. But if not, it was still a pleasure working with you. One second. Captain Redfang.
And with you, Vane. He says, still probably talking in Thane's voice, which he probably has been since he changed.
I don't know if Vane has picked up on Thane wanting to be called Thane in those moments.
I don't know if Paul has either, so it's okay.
Okay, cool. And then Vane will head out.